Hi, Ray Cassidy here from Climb High SEO. And no, we're not talking to you from the top of Ben Lomond, where me and Marion were a couple of weeks ago, but we're back safely down on terra firma and, in my case, recovering from a reacquaintance with the grind of going uphill on a mountain bike. So, in the name of relaxation, this is SEO over a G&T. Cheers. Right, down to business. So, the Google Business Profile category conundrums. Oh my God. One of the most important ranking factors for your Google Business Profile to show up successfully in local search results, especially when people search from their mobile phones, is assigning the most relevant, profitable category as the primary category for your listing. That's actually remarkably important. So categories, you say, what are they when they're at home? Well, categories in the context of Google Business Profile, these are the primary label that the big G uses to differentiate businesses in local searches. The last time I checked, there were over 4,000 different categories that Google uses to define businesses. I think that's the worldwide total rather than the UK total. In the UK, for instance, our subset of those categories runs from an Aadhar Center, pardon the pronunciation, that apparently is a form of Indian identity card or system, up to Z for zoo. So there you go. The problem for us as businesses keen to show up in our areas is that Google frequently doesn't have a category that fits our businesses exactly. Or, more commonly, we are unaware of our correct categories. Climb High SEO only lists one category, Internet Marketing Service. The reason for that is that you need to list the categories of the services you provide as your core business. It's very much a case of saying what you really do, rather than sort of some vague what you are. For instance, I could list web design as it is kind of related, and I do occasionally, especially in the past, put together websites. But my business doesn't sell. We don't specialize at putting websites together. It really isn't our core offering, so I don't use it. I'd much rather pass it on to specialists like Chris at Lightbulb Web Design or Harry at Focus Point Design. On top of that, Google is constantly updating its categorization of businesses and will sometimes unilaterally edit your categories following on from a category change they've made, or based on someone else's suggested edit, will change it. The situation is different for businesses which have several strings to their bow. One of the classic examples is the shoe repair shops, which are dotted across every town. And searching in Carlisle, these are the results that I saw. So here we go. And we've got Carlisle Shoe Repairs, Timpson and Key Essentials. And then Timpson again, a bit of Yell, some people also ask, a bit of Yelp, a bit of Silex, and then Simon's Key Issues. Oh, what's the damage.net and Key Cobbler, that's a Kendall result there. But basically, it's three businesses which all have shoe repair shop as their primary category. They've snagged the three available slots in the local pack result, which is this one with a map that often shows up at the top of any local searches. However, these are not such simple businesses because many of them also offer key cutting services. Now, it's a pretty competitive world, this key cutting business, so not too surprisingly, we see a couple of ads first. But then just lower down, we come to the local pack, and we've got the Locksmith Carlisle Key Issues, and JP locksmiths. And then people also ask, AL, a bit of Timpson, a couple of Timpson listings, Buckle and Jones, DIY.com, good old B&Q, and then Key Issues again, then locksmiths.co.uk, so some big aggregator, I presume, and Silex and so on. But interestingly, this time there's a split. There's a locksmith, a key duplication service, and an emergency locksmith service. Now, I haven't done much digging into this, but I presume that these are all listed as the individual businesses' primary categories. The picture gets muddier, as many of those same businesses will offer an engraving service as well. In these results here, past the ads, we see the importance of secondary categories or additional categories to your Google business listing. One of the three businesses, the middle one, Nicholson and Coulthard, their main business is actually a jewellery shop in Carlisle, and I'm pretty sure engraving is a secondary. It's a little add-on service to their main jewellery business. And here they're listed as an engraver simply because they appear to be the second most relevant engraving service in Carlisle to somebody searching from here in Upperby. So that's, it's really important to be aware of that. Additional categories can be very effective at getting your business seen in appropriate searches, even if they're not your primary service or revenue stream. This is an old Google business profile for my company, Consulting Cumbria Limited, which is the parent of the Climb High SEO brand. It's a listing that I'm slowly running down so that it isn't competing with Climb High. It's a useful example for this video. You can see how Google has pushed us all into editing our GBPs directly from the search results page via these icons and panels here and the triple dot menu up there. Now then, apparently it's possible to list up to 10 categories. So let's have a look. So dive into the edit. There's the business category section, and that's also got a primary category of internet marketing service, but nothing else. So let's just have a look. So add one, so that's 2 categories in total, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it doesn't give us the option. So let's just kill those empty boxes off. So there are 10 slots available, but as you go down that list, they become less and less powerful, or less and less relevant, I should say. So yeah, there's basically a primary category and 9 additional category slots that you could use. Now, my rule of thumb after many years of messing about in Google business profiles is to only list the categories that really describe your business's key services, what you do, with a maximum of 5 being my sort of top limit as a rule of thumb. So, how do you choose your primary category, especially if things aren't absolutely crystal clear and obvious as far as fitting into Google's prescribed categories goes? Well, choice of the primary category is actually quite simple. It's a business decision. Forget SEO for a minute. It boils down to which service or revenue stream is your most profitable. What do you need to show up for first? That should always lead you to your primary category. And then the next question is, how do you avoid falling foul, really, of category conundrums, like, have I got the right category? I don't know what the categories are called. And that's, with 4,000 of the little swines lurking in the background, that's not a daft question. That's a perfectly sensible question. So surely somebody's got a little bit of software that keeps track of all these categories and changes. Well, it just so happens someone has. Well, a few people have, but meet plepper.com. It has to be said the website is a bit but ugly, but we didn't come here for looks. Plepper is a multifaceted tool, but today we're only interested in Google Business Profile categories and how Plepper can help us nail them down most effectively for our businesses. So without further ado, let's have a look. So click on the Tools menu, and you'll see in this GMB related section of the drop down here in the middle, Google Business Categories List 2022. When you get to the page itself, it has been relabeled for 2023. Now, if you haven't been on Plepper before, you'll almost certainly be asked to sign up for an account to use the free tools. In my experience, it seems genuine. I've not had any sort of spam problems with signing up. So once you've been through the sign up routine, that of course will have disappeared. So back up to the menu, the tools menu, GMB related, Google My Business, categories list 2022, and you get through, and as you see, they've updated it, at least the title of the page, to 2023. Now you can scroll down past the blurb, though it's worth reading if you want to understand some of the ins and outs of categories. Okay, but the bit we're really interested in is here, and you've got some instructions there. So first of all, make sure that the language is set to English, presuming you're working in English, and then usually the country is defaulted to United States, so click on the drop down and set that to United Kingdom or to whichever country you are working from. Although I'll be very surprised if anybody from any other country ever looks at this video. Now, it's worth it's worth making sure that this little box is checked so that it shows results in a table with the ability to search. Now, you can see there are, as I said before, over 4,000 categories, and Google has added one new category in the last 30 days, pediatric clinic, although clearly American spellings rule. Now, what I'm going to look at first of all is see what kind of categories the database suggests for opticians. So find the search box on the right hand side and type in the main category idea that you think is right for you. So I'm investigating optician categories. Now, as you type, Plepper will filter the 4K results, 4,000 results, and out of 4,000 possible category, it appears only one matches. So you'll notice there are two columns, GCID and category name. Now you can ignore the GCID column. That is the basic identity of the category right across, of all those 4,000 categories. That's the basic identity of it. But they are sometimes called different things in different countries. And we want the version that is, we want the category name for the UK. And funnily enough, there's no clash over optician in English. Okay, so optician looks like a winning category for opticians, funnily enough. Now, I wonder if there's anything else that might be useful. Well, quite possibly. Over here, you'll see there are related categories. Clicking on that, you'll discover very quickly that you have to be logged in. If you want to see those related categories, Plepper insists that you are actually logged in. So I shall be back in a mo. If you weren't already logged in, you need to do that and then find your way back to, in our case, the optician category. And you'll see that the related categories link is now live. Click through on that. It can take a few seconds sometimes, and then you will arrive at a page that looks somewhat similar to this. You'll see that there are two sets of columns, a set here and a set there. Most of us will only be interested in the first set, the related categories by primary category. These columns are based on an analysis of around 29,000 Google business profiles with their primary categories set to optician. So these are the, so if your business is listed as an optician, typically these are the subcategories or the related categories that will pop up, and they're arranged in order of their occurrence. So the most common additional category is sunglasses store, and then contact lens suppliers, and then optometrist and eye care center, and so on. The table gives us the category name. That's the bit we want for our listing. The percentage occurrence, so you can see that pie chart relates to this, and the GC ID, that Google or global category ID. Now then, the second related categories are slightly different because they're based on analysing all the 60-odd thousand listings which contained optician as either a primary or a secondary. So you might have a department store with an optician's inside the store, and the optician will probably be listed as a secondary category. So it gives some other ideas. For opticians, you can also see that a related line of work is often audiology. For the curious, you can delve deeper by loading more related categories, and quite usefully you will also find a list of attributes that can be added to your listing that cover such details as delivery options, accessibility, payment methods, health and safety arrangements, amenities on site, and service options. These are useful details about your business and can help a customer make the decision to visit or call you as opposed to a business which isn't displaying those attributes. Plepper does a lot more, but those other functions are for another day. I hope that you now have a good grasp of how important primary and secondary categories are on your Google business profile. Secondly, how to use Pleeper.com as a tool to find the correct names for your primary and secondary categories in your language and your country. And finally, that you are now aware that the attributes section of your Google business profile can make a difference to the likelihood of a customer choosing you as opposed to another competitor. So thanks for watching. If you'd like to discuss how Climb High SEO can help your business gain prominence in your area, contact details will follow after this.